Hello, my name is Kevin, and you're watching Learning Old Germanic Languages. This video is, it could be said for Old High German, Old Saxon, or pretty much any old language that involves, was spoken in a time of pre-Christianization or what have you. And I'm making this video just because thing is, I know that a large portion of my audience are of the how to word it, like pre-Christian religion, the Germanic religion. If that makes any sense, there are followers of that who watch this channel, right? And the thing is, this is a language learning channel. Yes, there is spiritual content, but at the end of the day, the main thing behind this channel is language learning, okay? And the thing is, should I have any Christian content on here? That's not me being like, what is this, Kevin? Is this Kevin trying to push Christian propaganda or something like that? No. No, this is a language learning channel, and especially of historical languages. The texts that we have that were written down, some of them have relics of pre-Christian Germanic religion. Great, cool, but a lot of it is also Christian. All right, I mean, if we want to understand in old Germanic language in the context of this channel, we have to accept everything that's there, all right? Because we can't have what is called half chicken logic, okay? And I'll explain in detail what that means, okay? So half chicken logic. Let's say you have a farmer. A farmer has his hen. The farmer likes the hen because her backside gives eggs, right? So the farmer likes the hen for her eggs, but he doesn't like the the beak of the hen because he has to feed her. So the farmer might think, well, if I cut off the head, I won't have any eggs. Thus, the farmer in question has to accept everything about the hen, the parts that he likes and the parts that he doesn't like. In the same way, if I were to cut out the Christian texts in Old High German, then I'm not really studying Old High German. I'm studying a very small fragment of it. I'm not studying the whole thing, So if we sincerely want to study Old High German sincerely, or study any old Germanic language sincerely, we have to accept everything that's there, Christian or not, pre-Christian or not, if you will, and it's important to remember that despite it being Christian in nature, but how they express that is still through a very native Germanic way of expressing it. For example, one of the words for Lord throughout the Old High German is like Trustin, if you will, and Trustin means its other meaning apart from Lord means like military leader, So the way they would explain things would be through a Germanic lens, or if you will, a pre-Christian lens, if you will, The creator is known as the shaper. If you were to translate it literally, it's known as the shaper, right? A way to understand this, I'll use a modern example. Let's say I was a Christian missionary and I went up to a bunch of gamers the point is that I would have to explain it to them in their rhetoric, in their language, so to speak. So for example, Jesus, he in the language of gamers, he died and respawned on the third round. Okay? So in the same way, the, the way these Germanic peoples would express their world view, or despite whatever context they're in, the expression is still there, if that makes sense. It's just, so in other words, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So what does that saying mean? Well, let's say you're watching a movie and it's a bad movie, but there's some good parts. Well, don't throw away the whole movie. There's some good things in it. In the same way with Old High German or any old Germanic language, just because it has some parts you don't like, don't throw away the whole thing. All right? So, bear in mind, we're studying historical languages here. This channel is not to, though, to be honest, I have to be honest here, I do lean towards the more pagan, pre-Christian side of things. I do lean towards that because I myself am a Sanatana Dharmi. Okay, my religion is Sanatana Dharma, which is Sanskrit for the eternal natural way. Okay. So I am very sympathetic to pagan content and pagan texts and whatnot, but at the same time, I'm not going to throw away the Christian text, because there are things in those Christian texts that are actually dharmic in nature, whatnot, and plus I've been reading some of it, and it's like very beautiful stuff. If you, and again, this channel is about learning languages. It's about learning historical languages, and we have to accept of course we have to accept the parts that we like and don't like. Otherwise we're not really studying these languages or what have you very faithfully. Then we won't understand them fully if we reject some parts due to our own misconceptions or our own biases or what have you. So that's the main thing I want to say in this video, that if in the case of Old High German, yeah, there are a few pagan things in there, but at the same time, if we want to know the language and whatnot, and we have to study what else is there, and even from that, from the Christian stuff we learn from, again, the way they express themselves is through a Germanic way, and even on top of that, like once one learns how the language works, so to speak, then one can play with the language and create your own content, or make more Germanic pagan content, by learning more of the language, like after knowing how the language works and whatnot. So yeah, like I don't like this attitude where oh, I'm not gonna read this or look at that because it's Christian. I mean, come on, grow up. Our ancestors. Well, I don't have any German ancestors, but I mean, for those of you who do have German ancestors, yes, they were both Christian, and before that they were once pagan. I don't want to get into the details how that came to be, because for those of you who know history, we all know how that happened. But this channel isn't about historical grievances. I don't support historical grievances. Historical grievances are not cool. I mean, what happened around in the 9th century, around the 9th century with Charlemagne and all that, that is the past, and we move on from that, okay? That was then, this is now, okay? It's like someone still thinking about a relationship that happened 7 years ago, and like, oh no, what have I done wrong or whatnot? Move on already. You can't, dwell on something that's bringing you down, like have things around you to uplift you, okay? So I know I'm getting a little off topic here, but the thing is, if we want to understand old Germanic languages, or languages that had a pagan past, so to speak, and a subsequent Christian future, if we want to understand the language in its entirety, we have to accept both parts of it. All right. Otherwise, we know half the story, half how it works or whatnot. All right. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you're new. And if you really like the channel, please become a patron at my Patreon page down below. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.